you voted for the ultrasound bill. Your opponent, Carl Domino, voted against it. What was wrong or what is good about that particular bill?
Basically, what the provision in the bill, it was one component of many in a particular bill, and what it required is that right now the ultrasound is required for the second and third trimester. It would also be required for the first trimester, of which 85% of the current medical professionals already take an ultrasound because it is the responsible thing to do for a woman who is pregnant and considering an abortion to understand what's going on. We have the technology now to make sure that whatever medical procedure you have is safer, and it was common sense to me that requiring an ultrasound be taken in the first trimester will give the doctor more information. And those responsible doctors who want to make sure that they're protected against malpractice, that their patients are safer, are going to take the ultrasound regardless. So it just was common sense to me, and it shouldn't have developed the controversy that there was. The only thing they do is offer for anybody to see the results of the test, and if the woman declines, she declines. And that to me was not a problem, because there are many tests that you take or refuse to take where the doctor requires you to sign off that you have refused to take the procedure. And it's a non-invasive procedure, so it wasn't like we were asking somebody to do something invasive. It was just, to me, common sense medicine.
Now, my understanding is you've been a lifelong Republican.
Yes.
That being said, do you support, now that Governor Chris has jumped ship and is running as an independent/Democrat, do you support Marco Rubio in the U.S. Senate as the Republican nominee?
I've had the pleasure and opportunity to work with Marco Rubio. I was his majority whip when he was Speaker of the House. Marco is a friend, and I will be supporting Marco, and always have.
Now, again, like your opponent, Representative Carl Domino, you both came across very strong this past weekend at the debate you guys had in Fort Lauderdale about regarding immigration reform. Do you support an Arizona-style bill here in Florida? Now, mind you, we have different circumstances, but at the end of the day, illegal immigration is legal immigration. We have the issue of people overstaying their visa, whereas they have more of an issue of people crossing the border. Do you support any kind of bill similar to that here in Florida?
I think absolutely, and I think that the sad thing is, and the only reason Arizona was forced to do that, and the only reason that states are forced to address immigration is because our federal government has failed to do their job, failed to protect our borders, which is the number one thing that we need to be doing in order to protect our states from, spending dollars on immigration issues, illegal immigration issues that we shouldn't be forced to spend it on.
Now, as far as E-Verify, do you support E-Verify for the public sector and the private sector?
We passed the bill out of the Florida House 112-0, I believe it is. Unfortunately, there wasn't a hearing in the Senate. Hopefully, having the opportunity to serve as a state senator, I can help push that bill forward. It's common sense to me, again, when as a small business owner, I remember filling out an I-9 to verify that anybody I hired had to be legally allowed to work in the state. And I don't understand, what the controversy is necessarily, just simply asking business to engage and make sure that those that they hire are legally entitled to be in this country and legally entitled to work.
Now, Governor Chris is threatening to call a special session. Why do you think he would want to call a special session?
Well, I think it's obvious. I think it's politics. I mean, there has to be a reason for him to bring us back to Tallahassee so that he kind of maintains his political position. He's looking to bring us back specifically on a constitutional amendment for the oil spill, because of the oil spill. It's not going to solve the problem. As legislators, I think we need to focus on doing what we can to protect those businesses and families that are going to be affected by the oil spill, and not necessarily politically posturing ourselves to kind of talk about a constitutional amendment that isn't going to solve the problem that we're dealing with today.
Representative Domino touts himself as being the Mr. Portability. He also mentioned that you voted against the portability bill. Is that true?
I'm not sure what portability bill he's talking about, but every tax cut and opportunity I voted for. I was chair of Finance and Tax, and actually his bill had to go through my council in order to get to the House floor, and I agended the bill. So I'm not sure what he's referring to. I have not voted against any opportunity to cut taxes for the citizens of the state of Florida, so I think he's mistaken.